California wants everybody to go green, whether you're living or dead. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. California prides itself on passing aggressive measures to combat climate change. The state wants everybody to be socially responsible and achieve 100% clean energy by 2045. Not just in life, but even in death. Last week, California Governor Gavin Newsom gave California's dead a new burial option: human composting.
In California, we'll soon have something known as human composting. It's an alternative to burial or cremation, and it's just been signed into law.
Of course it has. Not just anybody will be allowed to do human composting. You can't just put Great Aunt Ethel in a pile of leaves in your backyard and wait. You'll have to be a registered disposer to do human composting.
The process involves organic material and oxygen. The bottom of a specially designed vessel is lined with sawdust, alfalfa, and straw. Then the body is placed inside, dressed with a compostable gown. The vessel is then filled to the top with more organic material and sealed.
The oxygen flows through the vessel and takes the body up to temperature. And in 30 days, the body completely transforms into soil.
I know what you're thinking. Wait, the whole body transforms into soil? What happens to the bones? Well, that explanation from the Human Composting Company was a little incomplete. They left out the part about how microbes and bacteria decompose the body, and the part where they place the bones into a cremulator to grind them up, like they do in crematoriums. Time for an America Uncovered mental health break. Here's a kitten who's very confused by grass. Thanks to Governor Newsom signing Assembly Bill 351. California is the 5th state to legalize human composting, after Washington, Colorado, Vermont, and Oregon. People in Oregon want to be turned into soil? I'm not surprised. Families can get their loved ones' bodies back after the composting process is complete and either use their remains for plants or scatter them. Scatter them? Great. As if the streets of San Francisco weren't dirty enough, now you might also have to worry about stepping in a pile of someone's Great Aunt Ethel. California officials have until 2027 to develop regulations for the practice. According to the author of the bill, human composting is an important way to fight climate change.
Given the heat dome we've been under, the drought, the wildfires, we need to do everything and anything to reduce our carbon emissions and create more eco-friendly options in all spaces.
That's California for you. Experts recommend better forest management to fight wildfires, so naturally California goes for human composting instead. Now, according to supporters, there are a lot of benefits to human composting. Environmental advocates point out that cremating bodies takes up fossil fuels and accounts for more than 360,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions in the U.S. each year. So forget worrying about stepping in someone's Great Aunt Ethel. You're already breathing her in. Even burying the dead takes a toll on the environment. In the U.S., caskets and burial vaults require 30 million board feet of wood, 104,000 tons of steel, and nearly 2 million tons of concrete each year, plus other materials. So say what you want about the mafia, but when they bury bodies in the middle of a forest or desert, they're being environmentally conscious. They're especially good at feeding the fishes. According to the Green Burial Council, conventional burials also use over 4 million gallons of embalming fluids each year. Though great for making dead bodies look good and last longer, the chemicals in these fluids can have serious environmental effects if they leak into the soil. Conventional ways of sending off dead loved ones takes up a lot of resources. So why go through all that when you can just make your dead loved ones into soil? It's even less expensive to do so. It's literally dirt cheap. So what are the objections? I'll tell you after the break. Welcome back. Human composting is a relatively new way of dealing with both dead bodies and carbon emissions at the same time. It's really killing two birds with one stone, then turning those dead birds into mulch. Advocates say it's great for saving the environment and saving space by ditching cemeteries. And the push for legalizing human composting is gaining ground. As I was saying, California just legalized it, and other states are following suit. States like Massachusetts have already been considering human composting, and New York is inching closer to legalizing it. Next thing you know, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will be buried neck deep in dirt from all the grandmas his COVID policies killed. Too soon? There's already enough demand that people are bringing their loved ones over state lines to be composted. According to Earth Funeral, this is a question of consumer choice, and Californians should have access to a death care option that is natural, carbon neutral, and a sustainable alternative to cremation or burial, without having to go to the mafia for it. But not everyone's a fan. The California Catholic Conference has raised objections against human composting. According to them, human composting reduces the human body to a simple disposable commodity. If you're wondering, the Catholic Church is also not a huge fan of cremation, and says that a person's ashes must be buried, not scattered. Anyway, many other religious groups, like some Jews and Protestants, also object to human composting on the grounds that it disrespects human bodies. But religious arguments aside, there are some legal questions. For example, would families that received their loved ones as soil be allowed to sell the soil? Would they be allowed to grow food with that soil? The California bill legalizing human composting has certain limits. For example, people can't mix more than one person's remains together, unless they're family. But other states, like Colorado, have more restrictions. Colorado's human composting law prohibits selling human soil or using the soil to grow food for human consumption. I hope California settles that. The last thing I want is for someone to give me an apple that he grew in his great Aunt Ethel. It probably tastes like a Werther's original. So what do you think? Would you want your body to go through human composting? Leave a comment below. And if you like this show, remember that we rely mainly on direct support from viewers like you. Please visit our new Locals community at americauncovered.locals.com. Become a supporter and help us keep making great episodes. Or contribute to us on Patreon at patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. The links are below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.